Chemical powder production techniques. Almost all metallic elements can be produced in the form of powders by suitable chemical reactions or decomposition. Mostly, chemical methods are based on the decomposition of a compound into the elemental form with heating or with the help of some catalyst. The two main chemical methods are chemical reduction and decomposition. Reduction of compounds, particularly oxides, by the use of reducing agents, solid or gaseous, is one of the most widely used and the oldest method of producing metal powders. The other compounds such as hydrides, oxalates, and formates can be also used as starting material for reduction. This is convenient, economical, and extremely flexible method to control the properties of the product such as size, shape, and porosity over a wide range. It is widely employed for producing powders of iron, copper, nickel, cobalt, tungsten, molybdenum, tantalum, thorium, and titanium. Powders produced by this route exhibit pores within each powder particles and hence are called sponge powders. Now, this sponginess controlled by the amount and size of the pores aids in the improved compaction and the centering characteristics. Gases such as hydrogen, carbon monoxide, dissociated ammonia, coal gas, enriched furnace gas, natural gas, and partially combusted hydrocarbons, alkaline metal vapors, carbons, as well as metal are used as reducing agents in the gaseous reduction of compounds. The general equation for reduction of metallic oxides by hydrogen or carbon monoxide are metal oxide reacts with hydrogen to form metal plus water, and metal oxide it combines or reacts with carbon monoxide to give metal and carbon dioxide. Second one, the thermal decomposition. Metal carbonyls are formed by passing carbon monoxide at a higher pressure over a heated metal sponge and condensing the vapor as liquid. These are volatile liquids and are usually stored as liquid under pressure. Decomposition of carbonyls of cobalt, iron, nickel, molybdenum, and tungsten has been used to produce fine powders with high purity. The liquid is purified by fractional distillation and is then decomposed in the temperature range of 150 to 400 degrees centigrade at atmospheric pressure to produce fine high purity metal. The carbon monoxide released during the decomposition is recycled. Atomization is a process of breaking up the molten metal into smaller droplets and then freezing it rapidly before the drops come in contact with each other or with the solid surface. The principal method is to disintegrate a thin stream of molten metal by subjecting it to the impact of high energy jets of gas or liquid. Methods of metal powder production by atomization. So you have three methods. First is the gas atomization, water atomization, and vacuum atomization. Water atomization. Here the high pressure water jets disintegrates molten metal stream. Water jets used mainly because of their higher viscosity and quenching ability. This is an inexpensive process and can be used for small or large scale production. But the water should not chemically react with the metals or alloys used. Gas atomization. Here, instead of water, high velocity argon, nitrogen, and helium gases or gas jets are used. The molten metal is disintegrated and collected as atomized powder in a water bath. Fluidized bed cooling is used when certain powder characteristics are required. Vacuum atomization. In this method, when a molten metal increases the concentration of a solution beyond a saturation point with the gas under pressure is suddenly exposed into vacuum, the gas that is coming out from the metal solution expands, causing atomization of the metal string. So this process gives a very high purity powder. Usually a hydrogen gas is used. Metal powder characterization. Metal powders are characterized for their chemical characteristics such as composition and purity, physical characteristics like size, shape and density, processing properties like flow rate, bulk density and compressibility. A standard set of procedures for determining these different metal powder characteristics have been prepared by Metal Powder Industries Federation, USA and American Society for Testing of Materials, ASTM. This section describes the methods used for determination of various powder characteristics. Chemical composition analysis. Chemical composition of a powder is an important factor which influences further processing such as compaction, case of ejection as well as the degree of densification. In addition, many chemical reactions are possible within the compact as well as between the compact and the sintering atmosphere during sintering. The type and extent of these reactions depend on the chemical composition of the powder. Chemical composition also determines the sintering temperature, the type of sintering atmosphere to be used, as well as the properties of the sintered material. Chemical analysis, in addition to the elements present, must also give the amount of metallic and non-metallic impurities. The impurities can be in elemental form or chemical composition of powders can be analyzed by chemical methods. Composition analysis involves the estimation of gaseous impurities like oxygen, hydrogen, sulfur, impurities like carbon and other insoluble materials like silicates. The techniques to analyze the different forms of impurities are different. For example, the technique used to detect silicon may not be suitable or accurate. If the silicon is present in the form of a compound, silica, rather than in a solid solution. Now, if the element is present in the solid solution, then it may sometimes undergo chemical reactions during sintering. In general, the degree of contamination increases with the increasing purity, fine particle sizes, shapes having higher surface area, or important techniques for analysis of surface and bulk chemical analysis are explained in the next slide. So here the oxygen content of powders is measured by hydrogen loss. The value of hydrogen loss gives an approximate estimate of the oxygen content of the powder, which happens to be an essential variable. Now in the table you have a method of analysis used, the principle behind and the remarks. So you see you have wet chemical analysis, X-ray fluorescence, emission spectroscopy, the neutron activation analysis, energy dispersive X-ray analysis and X-ray diffraction. And the second column lets you know the principle behind this method, and here the third column determines the remarks involving the chemical analysis methods. Particle shape. The particle shape depends on the method of powder manufacture. The various shapes are spherical, round, angular, dendrite, porous, and irregular. The particle shape influences the flow characteristics of powders. Now, the particle shape has an effect on packaging of the powder and has an influence on its compacting and centering properties and the mechanical strength of the sintered product. Now, the irregularly shaped particles have reduced apparent density and the flow rate, but a good pressing and centric properties, whereas the spherical properties have a maximum apparent density and flow rate, with the reduced pressing properties and good centering properties. Dendrite powders too have reduced apparent density and poor flow rates. And here we see the shape and its representation and the dimensionality. So, for one dimensional, you have a needle like shape or a rod like irregular shape. Example is in the chemical decomposition, and in two dimension you have a dendritic, which is a branch like. We have seen this in nucleation process, and the flaky shapes, especially for the electrolytic of carbon, copper and iron. And in three dimensional you have spherical, rounded, angular, irregular, porous by inert gas atomization or chemical decomposition or chemical reduction or water atomization and so on. Particle size. Particle size can be defined as the total space occupied by a powder particle. The particle size has a great importance in powder metallurgy because it affects some of the most important properties such as the grain strength, density of compact, as well as agglomeration, porosity, expulsion of the trapped gases, dimensional stability. Half and mixing characteristics. Fine metal powders result in poor apparent density, poor flow rates, and max sinterability. Fine metal powders result in poor apparent density, poor flow rates, and maximum sinterability, while coarse powders give a good apparent density, good flow rate, but minimum sinterability. In powder metallurgy processing, the powders used in the range size from 0.1 to 1 microns in diameter. The powders produced by any method will have a range of sizes ranging from about a millimeter to several microns. It is possible to maintain a narrow size distribution by close. Screening is the most widely recognized particle size technique, but it is being displaced by automated size and analysis. One reason for new size analysis tools is the large degree of error associated with the technique. Variation up to 20% is reported in particle size due to the differences in the sieves. Screen damage and even operators. Usually, the manufacturing tolerances allow for around plus or minus 4% variation on the opening sizes for a small mesh numbers. Interparticle friction and flow characteristics. Friction between the particles affect the ability of a powder to flow readily and pack tightly. A common test of interparticle friction is the angle of repose, which is the angle formed by a pile of powders as they are poured from a narrow funnel. Smaller particle sizes generally show greater friction and steeper angles. Spherical shapes have the lowest interpartial friction. As shape deviates from spherical, friction between the particles tend to increase. Now, if we discuss regarding the particle size, microscopy is the most definitive method of particle size analysis, as it involves actual counting of the individual particles on a slide containing a sample of powder. Though this is a tedious and time consuming process, it is the most reliable and standard method for checking the accuracy of other methods. Optical microscope is used for particles ranging from 100 to zero point 0.1 micrometer. Compressibility of metal powder. Compressibility and compactable are terms used to describe the extent to which a mass of a powder can be densified by the application of pressure alone. Compressibility of a powder is a major factor in design, partial density attainable, and the size of the press needed to compact to that density. Compression ratio, a related term, is the ratio of the final pressed density to the apparent density of the powder. This ratio determines the depth of the die cavity required to hold all the powder needed to meet the specified partial density. This ratio determines the depth of the die cavity required to hold all the powder needed to meet the specified density. Powders of high apparent density are preferred because tooling can be made shorter and thus stronger. The compressibility of a powder is influenced by several factors. First, the inherent hardness of the metal or a alloy. The powder particles undergo considerable deformation during the pressing, and hence their work hardening characteristic has a strong influence on the compressibility. Second is the particle shape. The more irregular the powder, lower is its compressibility. Third one, internal porosity. Here the fine internal porosity in a powder lends to become isolated during pressing. Now this traps the air within the particles. Although air is highly compressible, it lacks up volume and contributes to low weight. Non-porous powders have the highest compressibility. The particle size and distribution. Here the powders of a uniform size exhibit relatively poor compressibility. Mixtures of particle sizes designed to occupy the most space have better compressibility. The presence of non-metallics. Non-metallics such as unreduced oxides reduces compressibility because of their hardness and low specific gravity. And last, use of solid lubricant. So lubricants added to aid the pressing of metal powder affect the compressibility because of their low density and the high volume they occupy. Standard test methods are available to determine the compressibility. Typically, cylindrical or rectangular test samples are prepared by pressing the powders in a die with pressure applied simultaneously from top and bottom. The pressure required to achieve a specified density is the measure of compressibility. Now, the compressibility can also be specified on the basis of density.